Hey guys, Yulia here. So today is the part 3 of our garden design series for this spring, and today we're finally going to draw up our final design plan. And I hope that you've done your homework and you have your site inventory, site analysis, concept design done, and also you have figured out your garden style. You are not going to be graded on that, obviously, but it's kind of good to know and have all of that information on hand when we are drawing up our final design plan. And remember, this is our big picture because we really want to have our garden design be very cohesive and people who visit our gardens really be inspired and blown away by it. And once we have our big picture, we are going to break it down in smaller parts. And let's say this year we can only handle corner of our garden, let's say a privacy hedge, and that's all we're going to do. There's really no pressure to do all of this at once, and you really shouldn't. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the drawing and get started. Remember our concept design right here, and what we're trying to do here is just polish all of the features that we have in here. And here's a big secret in garden design development is that the lines of your features in your garden, like the lawn, the patio, the walkways, your bed lines, are as important, if not more important, than what goes into your garden beds. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in mind, and let's start drawing the patio first. Here's another tip for you. Your house lines are your main guides. So you kind of make little dots here and you go from your house and you start drawing. So remember, this is our family of 4, and let's say they're going for very contemporary straight lines design. And don't forget your little 10 by 10 square here so we know exactly the scale of things that we're drawing. So let's say they are going for that straight line, and at this point you can grab a ruler of some sort, or you can still draw freehand. Freehand drawings are actually very fashionable. They're kind of loose and natural looking. Or you can use a ruler. It doesn't really matter. So this is our patio here, and I like to start drawing with very light pencil so I can erase things. I erase things all the time. I redraw things all the time. It's no shame in that. So let's continue this patio line with into our lawn here. Again, very, very loosely. And so we have kind of these basic lines here. And this is about a 10-foot or maybe 12-foot bed already forming. Remember, right here we have screening, we have some other plants. And then what these people want, they actually want a bed surrounding a patio about 10 feet wide. So we can go from the steps here and correspond our little square here, and again freehand draw a little corner here. And guys, erase if you don't like something, if you're not sure about something, just erase, draw again and again. It's all about trial and error. So we have our patio, we have our bed right here. You already see these strong lines forming. And in this case, I actually changed my mind and I decided to put the vegetable garden over here next to the patio because we're going to be cooking here. So we're going to have grill, and I want these people to come out and have a little vegetable garden right here. So I changed my mind, which is, again, not a crime in garden design. I do it all the time. And then I will continue this bed line over here. And then also right here, I am going to create a bed line for our privacy hedge and windbreak. Remember, we had the wind going here. And 10 to 12 feet is pretty good for our bed here. And then we look at that. We have this cute little space for a little potager just starting to form. So contemporary designs, formal designs with straight lines are, fairly easy to design because they kind of fall into place. Everything starts to fall into place. All right, and then I actually want to design my next biggest feature, which is the lawn. So we have 2 kids here, and we want as much lawn as possible. So let's go pretty close to the trunk of our tree here, like this. And we know this is the vegetable garden, this is our planting, this is our patio, and this is our lawn. Look at this. It's a nice, very strong lawn feature, and we have plenty of space for kids to play. Let's say diagonally, there's plenty of space. They can run around here, and if people sitting on the patio and there's a bed line here, we are protected from soccer balls flying our way, so everybody has their own space. So let me just keep drawing this. I'm going to speed it up, and then I will explain how everything worked out. So before I show you the plan, I just wanted to address a couple of things. First of all, as you can see that I drew this plan in color. And the reason being is that I want to see how big my features are, my lawn, my hardscaping, my planting beds. And when you have different colors in your plan, it is easy to see. Now, I would not present something like this to my clients because my final plans are usually much more elaborate and detailed. For example, I would know exactly the way patio stone is laid out and would show it on the plan. I would know what kind of plants and their color, and I would show it on the plan as well. So this is really for me as a homeowner, if this was my backyard, to see how big my spaces are and to kind of separate them. Now, if you're having difficulty drawing this from just the concept plan, you can use trace paper and trace it on top of your concept plan. But I really did not want to bring up any of the professional equipment, so to speak, like the scale or the markers, because I just wanted to show you that a regular average homeowner can do something like this and use maybe markers that you have laying around the house, or maybe pencils that your kids use to draw up something like this. It really is just so you can see how different the spaces are. Also, when I speed up my drawings, you can just slow it down on YouTube. I think you could do that, so you can see, if you're interested on how to draw certain things, you can just slow it down a little bit and see how this is drawn. So anyway, let me just go ahead and show you this plan. All right, so let me show you our garden design for working parents who really love to entertain and who have 2 little children. And normally we'll start explaining the garden design in the front and then move into the back. And this is a point that I want you to remember, is that our garden kind of has to have a narrative or story that we can tell as we're showing it on paper. And if we can tell a narrative or story of our garden on paper, it will flow beautifully in real life as well. So we have our entrance walkway. Remember, this family likes contemporary design, so very straight lines. We have two little lawns here because of the snow sometimes we get in New Jersey, which a lot of snow, so we can pile the snow up here without harming any plants. We're going to have a very low maintenance ground cover here with low maintenance screen. Again, we do not know what kind of plants we still have here that I'm going to cover in the next video, but we have our bed lines, so we can start working on that. Again, very low maintenance garden, but beautiful trees, lots of structure. Then if we have guests, they can go and enter through this gate right here. And again, we enter this contemporary garden that has a lot of straight lines. And remember about the lines that I told you guys. The lines are important, and just as important as your plantings. So you see these very nice and crisp lines of the walkways. You enter, you pass a little shade garden right here, another garden, and then you see a beautiful potager or veggie garden, and then you can enter this generous patio with an arbor and possibly a kitchen under the arbor that has a grill, a sitting area, maybe a bar, a dining room table, just a lovely place to hang out. And then around our patio, we have this generous bed. I do not know what kind of plants there will be there. Maybe they're going to be like this or something else, but beautiful flowers surrounding our seating area. And then we have just 3 container plants here, maybe with some herbs that we can use as we're grilling. Here we have a little walkway that is going to our work area and also maintenance of our AC units. Here, remember, we have a privacy hedge from our neighbor's house, but here the plantings are low so we can see our neighbor's beautiful tree. Here we included a walkway of stone slabs set into the lawn. This is a beautiful feature that you can look out from your living room and see it, and that will lead to our play area here. And I know kids love things like this, so they can play with these features here and then go swing or play in the little tree house here. And also under our shade tree here, I included some stumps where the kids can play. The natural play features are very fashionable right now, and I think it's great when kids play with something natural rather than plastic. And then we have our privacy planting. Remember, we had the trash of our neighbors here. Again, we do not know what kind of plants they are. There could be something like this, like oak leaf hollies, or maybe green giant arborvitae, or maybe some sort of narrow spruces. We are working that out later. And then we have very simple windbreak, again, of the plants that we're going to determine in the later time. And this is where our journey ends. So I hope this makes sense. And you draw it over and over again, and this cannot happen without your site inventory, your site analysis, and your concept design. So all of those steps are necessary for you to have a solid garden design like this, because it's not just beautiful, it has to be practical too. All right, so this is our design for our working family with 2 little kids. And remember that we had another option for the same space, the same site conditions, where we had semi-retired couple who are huge gardeners living in this house. So let's see what the same space can look like where totally different family lives there. And I'm just going to quickly go over this design. So this is our semi-retired couple, huge gardeners who like informal design versus contemporary and more formal design. And they also just happened to come back from London's Chelsea Flower Show, and they're really inspired. They want a very unusual garden with lots of curves and unusual spaces. So this is what their garden looks like. The lawn has a lot of curves, and do not be intimidated by this. You could totally do this. Go out there and draw circles, or you can outline your garden spaces with white rope right in your garden space, so you can see what this may look like. The walkway is like this semicircle here. There's another walkway going into our secondary seating space with a meadow on both sides and tons of plantings. Again, we do not know what these are. There are all these different options. The arbor here is actually on the house, and it is quite smaller. And they wanted to have plantings right next to the house, as opposed to this couple here who don't have any plantings except for the containers here. And look at this front yard. There's a little lawn, but also swooping lines of the walkways, and there's a little path going through their plantings here. So you can see how different the design can be, where you know, lifestyle and different personalities take over. Now that our big picture is done, we can focus on the little areas of our garden. And let's say this year we can only work on the vegetable garden or the privacy hedge or the little patio area. That's okay. We'll work out the details. And this is the beauty of garden design, is that you can really phase it out. And don't be intimidated by the garden design process and the drawing. I just want to show you how many times I had to draw just the design concept. I try and I try and try again. As they say, repetition is the mother of learning, and the more you try, the better you'll get at it. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and thank you so much for your feedback, because I wasn't sure if I was making any sense when I was doing these garden series, because I was so nervous that I was not explaining things correctly, because I'm not an educator, I'm a garden designer. So but overall your feedback was incredibly positive, and thank you so much for that. Anyway, in the following videos we're going to go over the planting plans, the materials, the budgets, and all the little details that go into the garden design. If you're new here, please subscribe, because I would love to stay in touch with you. And as per usual, if you have questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time. Bye.